All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Achakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Nap, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this on Forbes Breaking News. It says Mark Rutte, NATO allies are discussing the next step to keep Arctic Greenland safe. Let's see what he's talking about. I've been waiting for him to talk about. There's been a lot of rhetoric about taking over Greenland from Duck, so let's see what the NATO chief is going to say about that.
Zahvaljujemo na uvodnim izlaganjima glavnom tajniku NATO-a, gospodinu Ruteu, premijeru Plenkoviću. Slijedi predviđeno vrijeme za novinarska pitanja, uvažavajući naravno vaš veliki interes, ograničeni smo vremenom koje nam je na raspolaganju. Imamo vremena za nekoliko pitanja. Krenut ćemo sa Jasmina Kuzmanović.
Hello, question for Secretary General. Good afternoon. So, a group of European countries led by the UK and Germany are apparently planning to increase, or actually to have some military presence on the Arctic, on Greenland. Could you tell us more about these plans? Would it be like the Baltic Sentry of the last year initiative, or how would it look, and how far the plans have gone? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. And let me first of all stress that all allies agree on the importance of the Arctic security, because we know that with sea lanes opening up, there is a risk that the Russians and the Chinese will be more active. And as you know, there are 8 Arctic countries, 7 are within NATO, including the United States and Canada, and 5 countries in Europe, including Denmark through Greenland and Iceland and Norway, Finland and Sweden. And then there is one Arctic country outside NATO, and that is Russia. But you could also argue that by now China has almost become a sort of Arctic country, and not geographically, but at least by the sheer amount of their activities and interest in the region. So that has led last year already to some debates, very successful concluded debates in NATO on how as an alliance, together with our 7 Arctic allies, we have to work together to make sure that the Arctic stays safe. And currently we are discussing the next step to that, how to make sure that we give practical follow-up on those discussions to make sure that as an alliance we do everything collectively and through our individual allies to make sure that the Arctic stays safe, as we all agree that that has to be a priority.
So you ain't gonna say nothing about Duck saying he said, the Donald Duck said he was gonna, whether they like it or not, something. Let me see what it said. What did he say? Oh, my shit wanna load. Here we go. My shit was just working just fine. What did Donald Trump say about going into What did Donald Trump say about going into about going into Greenland, and he's gonna do whatever he wants? Something like that. Trump says he'll do something on Greenland whether they like it or not. That's what he said. Let's see if he says it in this video here.
And the policy question. How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because...
There you go. So when you going to say something about that, Mark Rutte? You ain't got nothing to talk about. What's this? It says, and the reason why I'm bringing that up, because that pertains to prophecy with NATO and the EU. And I'm just going to grab the scripture. Revelation 17. It's always talking, man. These scriptures are, they're talking. Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith, I'll start at 14. These shall make war with the Lamb is Yahweh Shai, and the Lamb shall overcome them, meaning he's going to win, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful, because he's going to be bringing the chariots with him. Okay, the Most High is going to send his son as well as the whole host of heaven to destroy Esau. He don't need all of it, but he's just going to make it known why he's ultimately outnumbered, outgunned. He's nothing. He's going to show them that. Revelation 17 and 15, and all you heathen. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, the whore is symbolic of America, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And that's what's here, a melting pot of different nations. Revelation 17 and 16, in the 10 horns, which is the European nations, which thou sawest upon the beast, which is Nato and the EU, right? American allies. They all agree that they need to work together in the ocean, so they can pretty much compete with Russia and China. Well, not really compete, but pretty much they don't want them having those areas, having more access to those trade routes. They want to have some form of dominion over those areas. But the problem, the fact of the matter is, what are you going to do on the other side of the world? The Western Hemisphere, you got Central and South America, which you're just going to go to war with them, and that seems to be his plan. And he probably thinks, just through the spirit, I'm not a military guy, but you take half of the world, half the Western Hemisphere, and you try to cut off, you hoping that without going to war, hey, I can probably survive longer than you without even doing anything, because people are going to be upset, right? You're not going to be able to get things on things that cheap goods from China and, all that shit. He's pushing American-made goods, and, a lot of people are agreeing with this. But what you don't understand is prophecy. Okay, it's not going to work out. In his mind, it sounds good, but this is what the Lord put in his mind. Yeah, you're going to take you're going to take the Western Hemisphere, right? And you're going to be able to win. That's what his mind's telling him, but it's not going to work out like that. Okay, politically, it's going to be just crazy over here. These people, different things are going to pop up, A lot of things he's not going to be able to, and I'm talking about the duck, he's not going to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for, do what he said he's going to do. He's lying to you. It's going to be all lies, and eventually you're going to have enough of being lied to, and it's going to kick off like that. But what he's going to realize is these people over here ain't got it. They ain't got it upstairs, man. They're not gonna be willing to hold out, and everybody wants something quick and fast. But the East is not like that. They never really had shit for a while. You think of places, when you think about the East, think about the poorest places over there, man. Afghanistan, Iran, and shit like that. Well, Iran's probably not a good example, but Afghanistan, they're doing all right. They're used to not having a whole bunch of shit. You Americans got so much shit. You don't even understand how much you actually have. So when a little bit of that is taken away from you, you're gonna feel it's like hell. Oh, what do you mean the lights went out? Their lights go out all the time. These different storms and in these tropical weather, sometimes your power be out for a whole week. That's just normal. Cuba's power goes out all the time. They be out in the street. That's just normal to them, but it ain't normal to you. So when it happens to you, you're going to run out and go rob and steal and kill and try to get away with shit. That's so it ain't going to work. Then he's going to try to lock you up, and that ain't going to work. Ain't nothing he's going to do to try to maintain chaos. He's not going to be able to bring forth that order. It's just going to go out of control. Okay? Revelation 17 and 16, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, meaning NATO and the EU, they're going to hate the whore America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So they're going to destroy her. They're going to switch up on her. Duck said, I'm going to do whatever I feel like. I don't need, maybe I'll give him 10,000 to 100,000. Like he got, so he's talking to his allies like this. Now that's just one of many reasons why they're going to turn on the whore. But you're seeing why, it's going to become more evident as we get closer to prophecy being fulfilled, how the Lord's going to do it. Now, no one thinks he's going to actually invade Greenland, but he might. It tells you in Proverbs 21:1. You don't know he don't even know what the hell he's going to do probably. The Lord is in control of all these things, man. Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So if something's in your hand, you control it. So if he controls your heart, which is your mind, it's like a PlayStation controller. Whatever you do with your character when you're playing a video game, that's how the Lord got control over these devils, man. So they're not going to be able to do their own will. They're going to be doing his will. Let me grab this in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3 and 37. Who is he that saith and it cometh to pass when the Lord commandeth it not? You got to ask yourself these things, man. Who are you to say something's going to come to pass when you think, oh, I'm going to take over the Western Hemisphere. Then I'm going to, then A, B, and C is going to happen. Then, I'll get the upper hand, and it's not going to work like that. These other nations, he's going to disappoint the counsel of the crafty, so that their hand cannot perform their enterprise. People forget that the Most High is against Esau. He hates Esau. So his plans, they probably on paper, no one can deny it. It's great. You look at it, oh, okay, yeah, why wouldn't we? We got all of this over here. We got beef in Argentina. We got this over here and that over there. We got Canada. We don't really need all these other nations. And yeah, you're going to realize you do. You think they're willing to kill you see what's going on in Iran? I did a video a couple of days ago. It was 538 people. There's probably way more deaths than that now. Job 5 and verse 13. No, Job 5 and 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So he doesn't understand that the Most High is against him. And that's why he's not going to be able to bring to fruition his agenda. Job 5 verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. So he's going to be rushed. Because we know, according to Revelation 12 and 12, this devil got a short time. So he's not going to be moving at the pace he wants to. He's getting pressured. It's like a full court press. You can't just walk the ball up. You're more likely to make a mistake, turn something over. Oh, I gotta come back to the drawing board. Oh shit, damn, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was watching a video. I forgot who I was watching, but he was basically saying that our ships are being. When I say our ships, I'm talking about Babylon's. Like, they having ships being taken over on that side too. I was watching on the GMS brothers from LA, and they were saying there was reports about U.S. tankers being taken. So he ain't telling you everything that's going on, and I wouldn't doubt it. But yet it took him a week to get his 5th tanker a couple days ago. Where am I? Mark's done. Did I finish that? Yeah, Mark. So, Revelation 17. And so they're going to burn up with fire. Revelation 17 and 17. For God hath put in their hearts, meaning their minds, to fulfill his will. So just like it says in Proverbs 21:1, he's putting it into the hearts and minds of these different kings. Now, Mark Rutt, he was just traveling, escaping the news. And maybe if I look deeper, I can probably find him say something, but that video said 8 hours ago. So if that's all they want to, there's probably more. And that was CBS News. No, that was Forbes breaking news. As a matter of fact, let's see what other. That's 8 hours ago. I couldn't really find anything. What's this? Trump's ultimatum on Greenland goes silent. NATO downplays alliance tensions times New World. Let me see what this says.
Not everyone's life runs in.
But we don't need to know what he's going to say because the Lord told us what was going to happen. And just like he tells you in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, you ain't got to wait for the heathen to decide what they're going to say, man. All right, the Lord, that's why I brought out Lamentations 3, verse 36. It's the Lord that's doing all of this. Okay, Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So we're watching, like being on a watchtower, watching these things play out. But sometimes you got to follow through on these things and really, really watch him. You know, he hasn't been saying anything for days now, still downplaying the whole situation. But yet Revelation 17 saying they're going to burn it with fire. So there you go. Habakkuk 2, verse 2, and the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. And we're making it plain, making it simple, showing you the scriptures, showing you what the Lord said. Habakkuk 2, verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry, meaning it's not going to take a long time. Okay, the vision is for an appointed time, and we got to wait. Let me grab this scripture where it says, we prophesy in part. We prophesy in part. 1 Corinthians 13, that's about right. Oh, let's get this in the NLT. It gives it to me. It says, 1 Corinthians 13 and 9 in the NLT, now our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when the time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, that's pretty much it. So pretty much we only know a part of it. The scripture's not going to tell you a step-by-step dates and times when things are going to happen. Okay, you're living in real time, seeing it with your own eyes. These different divisions, how the Lord is created. Even if people say it's psyops and different things like that, a lot of it is. But that's how it's the Lord's script. Everyone's working to fulfill His goal. Okay. So, and that's the Lord's will being done. All right. Revelation 17 and 17, for God hath put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So they're being quiet about it. They're waiting for the word. They need those instructions from the Lord. And at the same time, He said in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, He was going to give Putin, or not Putin, but the Gog, that evil thought. You think that evil thought is going to be communicated out publicly? No. But we know the evil thought's coming, just like He's going to put in their hearts to fulfill His will. Let me grab this. So the Lord's in control. Ezekiel 38. In verse 11, and thou shalt, I'll start at 10, Ezekiel 38 and 10, and thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that as the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. And that's talking about here in America. Okay. This is the land of unwalled villages, and it also applies to Israel too. But because of that missile defense system, but it's not going to be protected. Because when you read Joel, the 2nd chapter, it talks about how those missiles are going to fall upon the sword and not be wounded. So that's talking about his golden dome. It's not going to work. All right. So long story short, these missiles are going to hit their targets. But he's controlling all these different kings to bring about his will. And we got to be prepared mentally for this day, because it's going to be hell leading all the way up to the point of us being delivered. And we can't be in the mindset of the world. Okay, 1 Timothy, that's you want to forsake that. Okay, is it 1 Timothy? I think it might be 2 Timothy 2 and 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahushua Hamashiach. In the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Yeah, we're trying to get this word to the elect. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Hamashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. So the Lord chooses you to be a part of this thing. You know, and think, it's not like it's a spiritual thing, but it's physical too. You gotta endure whatever the Lord putting you through, and there's gonna be a lot that He's gonna put us through. You gotta, tells you in Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, you gotta prepare your mind for this. 2 Timothy 2 verse 5. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. That's pretty much it, but I'm gonna keep reading. 2 Timothy 2 verse 6. The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. Remember that Yahushua Hamashiach of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel. That's right. The Lord's a great example of enduring into the end and receiving a reward. You know, he's the example. 2 Timothy 2 verse 9, wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds, but the word of God is not bound. Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sakes, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Yahushua Hamashiach with eternal glory. That's right. So we do all this. All of this is for the elect. All these videos, all these different camps. It's all to build up the elect for the time to come. So you should be building yourself up, no matter what area you are. Even if you in a church, man, may hope Lord's will the Lord give you a pastor that got some form of knowledge, and you can, that little bit can build. You can build upon that knowledge all the way up to the point where you know who Israel is. You know the name of the Lord, because it tells you in Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and are safe. So you want to be safe in that time. You want that grace, that mercy. This is what we're laboring for. Okay? In the time where some people don't see the value in it, but who cares? The Lord is caring for his elect. Okay, if you care about what the Lord cares about, you're going to be caring about his elect too. 2 Timothy 2:11, it is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself. That's right. So we want to suffer. We want to keep our belief. We want to remain faithful all the way up until the end. What's this? I did that. Oh yeah, Trump tells Cuba to make a deal before it's too late after Maduro deposed.
Yesterday, President Trump issued a warning to Cuba, a close ally of Venezuela, that it is now cut off from Venezuelan oil shipments. He said on Truth Social, quote, Cuba lived for many years on large amounts of oil and money from Venezuela. In return, Cuba provided security services for the last two Venezuelan dictators, but not anymore. There will be money going to Cuba, zero. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late. The president...
And let me tell you something, man. You smaller countries, you don't want to fuck with the duck, man. You don't want to fuck with him, man. This nigga's using hyper. This is how you know Jacob Trump's gonna be ill. If they got Maduro without any casualties, using sonic weapons that they also used on different crowds, he'll manipulate the frequency, and he probably knows different frequencies probably gives him a different result. You know, he Prince of the power of the air, man. He'll make some people bug out. Tells you in the book of Isaiah 54:17 that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Let's go there. Isaiah 54 verse 17, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue of the wicked what am I talking about? And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord Yahweh. So no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. So even the sonic weapons, they're not going to work when it comes to the elect. Something's going to happen, some divine intervention. The Lord's going to make sure you're not going to be affected by those things. Okay, so it's not to scare you, but it goes to show you some of the wicked got a lot, man. You know, that's a lot of forms of judgment. Last thing you expect to die from is some new technology that's out. Something you ain't never even heard before. It said it makes your nose bleed, makes you throw up, makes your brain feel like it's about to explode in your head. And I'm sure it probably does make your shit explode in your head. I remember when Duck dropped the Moab on ISIS targets in Afghanistan, and they were deep into some tunnel, but the bomb hit and it blows down, and he said that they felt a ringing in their head. Like the ringing was so crazy, you'd probably stop banging your head against the wall, like something crazy like that. And I was like, yo, what kind of tech is that? Where you don't even get it, the bomb don't even kill you, but the I don't know if it's a shock wave, I don't know what it was, but it was something that it make you go crazy. It's like some of the people who survived it said that's what they were experiencing from it. So his tech is some shit a lot of people ain't never even heard of. And I'm sure these different nations got some shit that they don't even want you to know about too. You know, but if you ain't dealing with the Lord, then, you know, you're subject to all of this. Let me grab this in the book of Psalms 91. In verse 1, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. The secret place is this word. When you're occupied in this word, your mind's in a different place, and it's where it needs to be. Because if your mind is occupied in the world, then you're going to be moving according to the course of this world. But if your mind is in with the Lord, then he going to have you in that secret place. Your mind's going to be on a whole different level. Okay, what you're focused on is the Lord's pretty much guiding you with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And it's keeping you away from a lot of the evils that are presently in this world. Psalms 91:2, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. So we trust in Yahweh. Okay, that's why you got to look these words up. Be more scholarly when it comes to serving the Lord. He don't want no weak-ass Christian who don't just takes everything verbatim and don't know shit. No, he wants His elect is what he's trying to feed. He ain't trying to feed somebody. He tells you in Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter. He don't love people who don't have wisdom. All right, let me grab that as a matter of fact. And guess what? A lot of people don't have wisdom. They're stupid. We living in a time of idiocracy. Wisdom of Solomon 7:28. No, am I in 7? Wisdom of Solomon 7:28. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. So there you go. It's very simple, but it's very profound at the same time. Because if you don't have any wisdom, he don't love you. He ain't messing with you. You should know who Esau is in 2026. If you don't know who that is, that's because the Most High just hates you. It tells you in Jeremiah 6:30, reprobate silver shall men call them. Okay, let me grab that as a matter of fact. You're a reprobate. And it's not your fault. You know, you'll be all right in the kingdom, but right now, you got that veil over you of stupidity. Jeremiah 6:30, reprobate silver shall men call them. Reprobate means someone who's void of judgment. He doesn't understand his actions come with judgment. Okay, his actions, they seem right in his mind. Okay, it tells you in Proverbs, I think Proverbs 14. Let me grab that real quick. There's a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof is the ways of death. KJV, Proverbs 14:12. I knew it, but I mean, kind of slow right now. Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So, you know, your way may seem right in your own head. It tells you in Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who could know it? So you can't really trust your own thoughts. You got to just trust in with the Lord. We trusting in him. We're not even trusting our own selves. We know our minds. In him will I trust ever. We ain't trusting in ourselves. We know our mind will lead us astray. So we're cleaving to his word, trusting that this is the truth, and everything else, every man is a liar, even yourself. Psalms 91:3, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. So the snare of the fowler is the snare of Esau. He got traps out here for you. And right now, one of the biggest traps is he likes to pay people off to go out and protest. Now, people, that's psyop activity, right? But at the same time, real people are believing in this. Real people are being involved and going out and getting pepper sprayed and all of that shit. Yeah, you might have took the money, but you're causing. He's doing all these enchantments on the people. And the only way for you not to be enchanted is if you are standing firmly on Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. There's no enchantment against Jacob. Okay. But if you fully given over to evil, you can be enchanted. Because like I said, the Lord's only dealing with his elect. There's a 2/3 out there going back to those reprobates who are going to fall for the snare of the fowler. Psalms 91:4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Okay, shield, you look up a shield. The shield is to block arrows, you know, but then the buckler is like a smaller shield that you can use for closer combat. So this is what we're using for this battle. Because if he can get you to believe in him, you'll destroy yourself. If you believe in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, you're going to prosper. Psalms 91:5, thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, going into those thermonuclear missiles, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Same thing. More destruction, more missiles. 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So many people are going to die. You know, so what kind of mindset you going to have? What's going to endure? What you going to do in that time? Psalms 91:8. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Yet only with thine eyes, if you be part of that number. Going into Revelation, the 15th chapter. That's how you get the victory over the mark, over the beast. Psalms 91:9. Because thou hast made the Lord, Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. So we making him, that's who we dwelling in the midst of. And we do that by being in this truth, serving him, being obedient. Psalms 91:10. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. Okay, so we want to be in the Lord. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. It tells you in the book of Job 33, he sealeth the instruction. You want him to seal you with the knowledge and wisdom. You want to be increasing with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So when the day comes and everyone's slacking, because that's most of Israel, they're slack, they're slothful, they're lazy. Okay, so you can't be like that. There's different. Everyone got a different judgment. Okay. Psalm 91:12. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. So they're gonna guide us away from these troubles. Okay, so you don't fall. Psalms 91:13. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, which is the Edomites, the young lion and the dragon. Shall thou trample under feet, and we're gonna trample them under feet when we in the chariot. The Lord's gonna put them underneath our feet by delivering us, and then we get to watch our enemies be destroyed. Psalms 91:14. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he have known my name. So the name is important, which is Yahweh, meaning he is. Bahashem, meaning in the name. Yahweh Shai, meaning he's the deliverer, or the deliverer, or the savior. Psalms 91:15. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. So I will be with him in trouble. And then that's going into Jacob's trouble. Psalms 91:16. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So the Lord gives you the blueprint. Okay. Let's finish this.
President of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel, took to X to push back on the administration, writing in part, quote, Cuba is a free, independent, and sovereign nation. No one dictates what we do.
No, you're not. And you Cubans out there too, man. You better hope you got the Lord with you, because this devil coming down with great wrath. And, you you trusting in those mountains, man. That's Israel trusting the mountains, man. Let me grab this in the book of, I think I always get this precept wrong. I think it's Jeremiah 2. And some more backsliding. Let's see what comes up. Nope, Jeremiah 3. Yep, Jeremiah 3. In verse 22. Return ye backsliding children, and I will heal your backslidings. Behold, we come. So backslidings when you stop serving the Lord. You start going some other way, opposed to the way he told you to go. Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art the Lord our God. And that's where we're at right now. We come unto thee. So there's a willfulness to go and serve Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills, and the hills are going into these different religions. Okay, they go to the hills to go worship other gods, and from the multitude of mountains. Okay, truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains. Mountains represent governments. It's vanity to trust in them to help you. You could look at the history of Israel. You could look at the Assyrians. They were doing trade. They trusted in him. Look what happened. Taken down. Judah trusting in Egypt. Egypt got taken down. Okay, and there was nothing. When you were going up against the Lord, judgment was coming. There was nothing going to save you. Just like now, your government ain't going to be able to help you against the duck. Okay, the Lord is only looking for his elect. So this is the time to be in the scriptures. And if he's coming to Cuba, you Cubans ain't been doing something right over there. Okay, and the Lord's coming to get whoever he need to go. He gonna get everybody. He got a lot of destruction coming to this place in the world. Truly in the Lord Yahweh, our God, is the salvation of Israel. So that's the only way you're gonna be saved, is through the Lord, our God. Okay, and you gotta seek him.
CBS News Pentagon reporter and producer Eleanor Watson joins me now. Where do things stand currently in the U.S.-Cuba relationship and the Cuba-Venezuela relationship?
Well, Lindsay, Cuba, as you mentioned, has countered President Trump's threat, saying it will import fuel from wherever it wants, and Venezuela is the largest supplier of oil to Cuba. It's unclear what kind of deal President Trump is proposing here, but it appears to be part of the larger strategy we've seen recently of the Trump administration pulling other countries.
And that's the president right there. So now I gotta look his name up, but he gonna be next on the list, man. And he's already talking shit. Don't start dancing either. You start dancing like Maduro, he might get you tomorrow.
In the Western Hemisphere, more under the U.S.
Don't dance on a Friday, because then when they bring you here, you got to sit in jail and wait for court on Monday. That's shameful with how they went and got Maduro. The nigga went and got him on a Friday, man, so he could spend the weekend in the clink. So don't start getting the dancing Friday night and thinking you're going to be okay Saturday morning. You're not. The nigga hit you with a sonic weapon, sonic boom like Guile from Street Fighter, and then have you lock your ass up.
Influence. Following the raid on Maduro in Venezuela, the U.S. has used a quarantine on oil tankers, oil the most crucial resource to Venezuela, as a way to coerce the current leaders there to acquiesce to U.S. demands. And now it's
acquiesce to U.S. demands. See, that's pressure. And you can learn from that. This is what he likes to do. He takes you, on a country's level, you stop the flow of oil. That makes the cost of your goods go up. It makes it unaffordable. Chaos. And what else is he stopping? It's not going to just stop with the oil, man. Just like when they were telling you to get, before Biden left office, there was port strikes. People were striking at the port. People were complaining about the ports. You're not paying us enough to go around. We got to fill up our own gas. Now, if you have to get your gas imported, then you can imagine how much chaos that will cause in a country that relies on fuel to get goods to one side of the island to the other. People need to go to work. People need to do this. People need to do that. Cuba been getting by with very little. Look at this J-Kid, Cuban man. Old, still on his feet, man. That dude might be, who knows? You think shit, man. Man like that, but Cuba's different too. They got good doctors, they talk a lot of shit about Cuba because it's a communist country, but Russia's still in the midst of all of this. So don't think, I don't know how it's all gonna play out, but it does seem like I wouldn't want to mess with the duck right now. You know, I'm glad the Lord got me in the truth, man, so I can just rely on him to just pretty much stay in the truth. That's it. You ain't got to go fight in the military. And if the Lord ain't put you into all of that, man, I'd be seeking him even more.
Seems that threat is spreading to Cuba, which the president's cabinet, Secretary Rubio in particular, has made no secret the expectation that the Cuban regime could be in danger of falling.
President Trump says that U.S. oil companies will rebuild Venezuela's energy sector with U.S. security guarantees. Realistically, what will this look like?
Yeah, so Venezuela is home to the largest known oil reserves in the world, but it's going to take years of repairs and potentially billions in investment before there are significant benefits from that supply to U.S. and Venezuelan citizens.
Damn, they made it hard for you to even extract your own oil. This devil's ill, man. He'll keep you poor by just stopping you from prospering. You know, he probably cause a whole type of war, not even because you're doing anything politically against him. You need political, you got to go to all of his enemies just so you can put gas in your damn car. That's oppression, man.
President in encouraging investment from these firms who would have to spend that money and time has said that there will be security guarantees. He said that in a meeting on Friday with them, but when asked afterwards by
lies. He gonna kill your ass. Tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, don't set him by you because he'll overthrow you, man. And then he'll start walking around with mustaches like a Cuban, saying he's Cuban and speaking Spanish and shit. Stupid motherfucker. But you Cubans, you already, I can already tell. Probably got all Jesus Christ shit all up in your country, and that's why he can come in there. Overthrow your shit.
Reporter, he was kind of wishy-washy in what the makeup of those security guarantees would be, saying in part it'd be the private firms providing their own security in consultation with the Venezuelans. What he did not mention in at least that answer was the potential for U.S. boots on the ground.
What more should we know about actions against ISIS in Syria?
Yeah, over the weekend was the second wave of retaliatory strikes, large-scale strikes against ISIS targets in retaliation for the killing of 2 Iowa National Guardsmen and a civilian interpreter last month.
You still killing people? You killed more. They killed 3. What are you gonna do? Why don't you let Turkey handle that? All the way up somebody else's fucking border, man. Turkey got nuclear capability. Turkey, come on, man. And that's why he gonna fuck you up.
Saturday, as a part of Operation Hawkeye Strike, the U.S. using fighter jets and attack helicopters hit more than 35 targets, bringing the total in the 2 waves of strikes to more than 100 ISIS targets hit.
All right, Eleanor, thank you.
100 ISIS targets hit in Syria. You should be letting other people, it tells you in the scriptures, meddle not with many matters. Where's that? Ecclesiasticus 14, I think. Let me see. Ecclesiasticus 14 and 10. No, that's something different. Meddle not in many matters. I forgot what that precept is at. Meddle not in many matters. That's 11 and 10, 14. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent, and if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. He's meddling many matters. He's already talking about boots on the ground in Mexico. The president just said today she don't want no boots on the ground in Mexico. But she's probably gonna have boots on the ground in Mexico. Then he got Cuba. He was just talking about Greenland yesterday. Then now today he's talking about Cuba. Okay, tomorrow's gonna be something different. Every day is something different. This devil got so many different enchantments, but this is how, when you're watching his ass, you see how he stumbles and he's sloppy. Okay, he's sloppy. Now he's coming up after his Jerome Powell. Let's see what Jerome Powell got to say.
A stunning escalation in the White House feud with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. The Department of Justice is launching a grand jury investigation. Powell himself announced that the Federal Reserve has been subpoenaed. Today, the White House denied that President Trump sought the probe.
No. As for whether or not Jerome Powell is a criminal, that's an answer the Department of Justice is going to have to find out.
Powell says the inquiry is about his June testimony before Congress on the renovation of the central bank's Washington headquarters that the president viewed in July, where he slammed cost overruns, pushing the price tag from $1.9 billion to $2.5 billion, though not taxpayer money. The president has pounded Powell over interest rates.
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I tell you?
The DOJ declined comment on what it called ongoing investigations. Powell, who had avoided conflict with the president, engaged.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
In a phone call with NBC.
Oh, man, you got to peep what he just said, man. He said he was concerned about serving the public rather than, let me see how he worded it.
Of the president.
In a phone call.
Will serve the public, rather than following the preference interest rates based on our best assessment.
Yeah, based on our best assessment, I'm starting again.
Engaged.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public.
Yeah, so he sets the interest rate based on their best assessment to serve the public. That's what you would want.
Rather than following the preferences of the president.
Rather than following the preferences of the president. See, the president don't want you to have. I mean, look at your 401ks and all. That shit's good right now. Okay, what he's gonna do, he's gonna escalate it to the point where it might even hyperinflation. That's the best way I can put it. So it's gonna look like you got a lot of money, right? But you ain't gonna have shit. Ain't gonna be shit to buy. You're gonna be rich as shit with nothing. You know, you're gonna be looking at your 401k. Oh shit, my shit's over 200,000. Taxes are gonna go up. You're not even gonna want to take your money out. You know, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna come to a point where everyone's gonna try to take their money out, and whoever's left with the bag, it really don't matter because it's the end. It's the end of this place, man. A great crashing from the hills. Let me grab that. Zechariah 1. And what is it? Zephaniah. Zephaniah 1. In verse 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut off, all they that bear silver are cut off. So like, yeah, all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. So that's going into a stock market collapse. You know, the fish gate is where you trade different goods. The modern day fish gate is the New York Stock Exchange, or now it's these decentralized platforms. You know, now you can go on the app and have access to the stock market, but it wasn't always like that. You'd have to call a stockbroker. You know, hey, I want to buy 5 shares of NVIDIA. You know, and then he get a cut. But then they that's pretty much, that's an outdated thing. Now you got apps like Robinhood, you know, and other platforms, you can just, they just cut out the middleman. Even though they're the middleman, and on the back end, they're getting paid off you. It's just another bank, another scam. Okay, they're taking your money and they're doing all types of shit with your money. All right. So these scriptures weren't written just because they're written in the book. You're supposed to get the knowledge of it so you know that these times are coming. So another stock market crash is coming, and this is the last one. It's going to be a big boom, a big blam, or whatever you want to call it. That's that crashing from the hills. When you look at the start, it looks like hills, okay? And there's going to be one steep curve going down to zero because everyone's going to be taking their money out the bank, and it's going to be too late. In Germany right now, the banks being robbed, all of their assets, their gold, they went and put all of that shit in the bank and they robbed them. Same thing that happened during the Great Depression. They went to their bank accounts, nothing. Some people were able to take their money out before that day, but a lot of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and them, you're going to be the last one to know. You're going to be the last one to know. They're going to, just like when 2025 hit, you didn't know that the vid was going to crash the whole economy. It didn't even have to crash the whole economy. The vid's still out right now. You know? And the economy's doing great. So they didn't even have to do that. They just did it because they're wicked. And they did it because most Edomites think, you know, as long they think they can ride the storm a lot longer than you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But it tells you in Matthew 4 that a man cannot live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Heavenly Father. So this is how you can get ahead in life, so to speak, when it comes to resources and things like that. It starts with this word. These heathen, they don't have no hope. They don't have no God. It tells you in the book of Job that their hope is the giving up of the ghost. That's what's gonna happen to them. Let me grab that. It's that Job 11. That's their hope. Death. In verse 20. I'll start at 19. Job 11 and 19. Also thou shalt lie down, and none shall make thee afraid. Yea, many shall make suit unto thee. But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape. And their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost. And that's exactly what they're going to hope in, to die. And the Lord might not even give them the pleasure of doing that. He might make them just suffer.
A phone call with NBC News, the president said he would not use an investigation to pressure Powell. What should pressure him is the fact that rates are far too high. That's the only pressure he's got. The investigation said
now the rates are far too high. So he's being accused of increasing the rate too high, increasing the rate too low in such a short period, and it's creating the inflation that we supposedly have today. Says somebody that I don't really trust, you know. But it's not because it's any of their doing. The Lord wants the rate to be where it's at today, at the end of the day. They don't know that, but that's what I know.
Off alarm bells for some Republicans. North Carolina's Tom Tillis vowed to block any Trump nominees to the Federal Reserve.
Another example of amateur hour as far as I'm concerned.
House Speaker Johnson backed the DOJ.
No, the Justice Department is not being weaponized.
And with that, Kelly joins us tonight.
The Justice Department is not being weaponized. Yes, it is. It is being weaponized. You see? They tell you, man. They put that one little clip. They didn't care about everything. He's probably spoke many different words after that, right? They clipped that out to show you that the DOJ is being weaponized. That's the wicked for you.
From the White House, and Kelly,
you can count on your government to lie to you 100%.
I know you have some new reporting for our viewers that the Treasury Secretary is pushing back on this investigation as well.
Secretary Bessent spoke to the president directly about this, and a source familiar with that conversation described the situation as a mess, and that Bessent is, quote, frustrated that a probe of Powell creates unnecessary distraction. Tom?
Ooh, they told you right there. Unnecessary distraction. More confusion. Isaiah 47, verse number 12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. So he's been doing this for a long time. You know, you thinking about Jerome Powell. I mean, not me, but there's a lot of people are. A lot of people are looking at that. They're thinking, you know, people in the world thinking about their 401ks. Okay, when they hear the rates being changed, they're thinking, okay, my portfolio is going to go down. Okay, now if he adjusts it, he's saying it's too high. Okay, so if he adjusts it, what's that gonna do? So people are thinking, should I take more cash? You know, should I have more cash on reserve, or should I be investing more in the stock market? That's what the rates are for. You know, to get people either put more cash, stay with more cash, or invest more. And you know that someone like Warren Buffett, you know, just to have an extreme view, he don't want to put his money in this shit. He don't trust none of these motherfuckers. He's like, let me just sit on this cash. I'm sitting. He's been sitting on billions of dollars. He ain't putting his money in this fucking stupid fucking casino he calls a stock market. And I don't blame him. And he's 90 years old. He about to get up out of here. And he's like, I ain't putting my money there. That's just stupid. Even if I'm about to go tomorrow, I ain't putting my money in that shit. Isaiah 47:13, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. It's like famine, destruction, war, pestilence. Anyways, she got the Green Goblin shirt on. Evil. Listen to this. Breaking. Trump warns Cuba entertains the idea of Rubio as Cuba president. I wouldn't doubt it. As a matter of fact, isn't he Cuban? Probably take him out and set up a puppet leader, put Marco Rubio as the damn president of Cuba. Can't make this shit up. Is Marco Rubio Cuban? Yes. Senator Marco Rubio is of Cuban descent. He was born in Miami, Florida, to Cuban immigrants' parents who left Cuba for the United States, making him a Cuban American. While he is an American citizen, his background as the son of Cuban exiles heavily influences political identity and focus on Cuba-related issues. Oh, because he just loves Cuba. He was talking shit about them today, or yesterday, saying they're incompetent. So I guess you're the competent person, right?
Big development coming in at this hour. US President Donald Trump has threatened another country in the Caribbean. He has issued yet another warning for Cuba. Taking to his Truth Social platform, Trump said, and I quote him here, there will be no more oil or money going into Cuba. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late. He also claimed
he gonna make a deal with everyone in America. Hey, you better take this chip, or before it's too late. You better do this and do that. Yeah, he seems like the perfect person to implement that. Mr. Hyper Speed, Mr. Warp Speed. When it came to the jab shots, he wanted to hurry up and get the jab to you because he likes you so much.
That Venezuela now has United States of America to protect them. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who has Cuban origin, also sharpened an attack on the Cuban government, highlighting that the country is in bad shape. And U.S. President Trump also ignited fresh curiosity on social media after sharing a post claiming that U.S. Senator and Secretary of State Marco Rubio would become president of Cuba. Trump captioned the post on Truth Social, "Sounds good to me." Big development coming in at this hour. The US president has issued yet another threat to another Caribbean country, that is Cuba. On his Truth Social platform, he said, "There will be no more oil or money going into Cuba. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late."
Here you go. So that was Cuba. 2 hours ago, White House weighs military action in Iran.
Tonight, the White House is weighing military action in Iran as fiery protests stretch into a third week. The mass protests started last month, fueled by Iran's struggling economy. According to one human rights monitoring group, at least 648 demonstrators have lost their lives.
Damn, 648. I had 538, so 648, man. That's a lot of people dying out protesting, man. This shit gonna happen here too. He gonna be putting y'all to death out here too. He probably gonna get you to go out there, get these big, huge crowds going, so he can implement some other frequencies on you. He might have a frequency where he can turn it up and you just start eating each other. He might have a frequency like you just start fighting each other and everyone just goes crazy, and you don't know, man. That's what he deals with.
Today, the Iranian government held a rally threatening retaliation if the U.S. intervenes. But President Trump says it's a different story behind closed doors.
We're looking at some very strong options. Yesterday, the leaders of Iran called. Iran wants to negotiate, yes. We may meet with them.
Tonight, intelligence leaders say President Trump has been briefed on options for military strikes inside Iran.
The Federal Reserve Chair is under investigation, and now Jerome Powell is firing back against the White House and the Justice Department.
That's it. That's all I wanted to see. So the White House wants to go and supposedly just more threats. What's this new video angle shows U-Haul, let me see, plowing into crowd in LA. You want to go keep protesting. It says the madman who smashed a U-Haul truck through a crowd of people protesting the Iranian regime and injuring two has been identified as Kailer Madanshek. Madanshek was arrested and booked for misdemeanor reckless driving and held on $0 bail. What? $0 bail? It was not immediately clear whether he was released. For $0, I think he would have been released. Shocking video captured the moment a madman smashed a U-Haul truck through a crowd of people protesting the Iranian regime in Los Angeles on January 11th. Where's the truck?
shut up! This is Altama, Be shut up! 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 Be shut up!
I saw somebody riding on a. Why is this dude on the top of the U-Haul? What the heck? This nigga is on the top of the U-Haul. This shit is just crazy, man. It's weirdo shit, man. He's on the top of the U-Haul. Then he jumps down and starts kicking in the window. Crazy. Anyways, we gotta be circumspect, man. I'm gonna grab it. Ephesians 5 verse 14. This is wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. See, you gotta be a fool to be going to these protests when you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be amazed by things that the Lord is doing in the world. You should have wisdom. Okay, not as fools, but as wise, meaning having the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua to keep you firm and stable, and you don't have all these different spirits pulling you into harm's way. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. When someone drives a U-Haul truck through a crowd, not giving a crap about, so I'm surprised nobody died. But that's the type of spirits that are out here, man. That goes for concerts. That goes to all types of things like that, man. Honestly, I'm talking to the elect of Israel. But if you find yourself following the ways of the heathen, that's what's going to happen to you. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And I'm going to end it there. Lord's will, this was edifying.